Alexandra, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
My pleasure.
Congrats on the series. Like I was telling you
Thank
before,
you.
before we jumped on, this is my favorite show 2025 so far.
Yes, we love to hear it.
What's been like the reaction from like fans, family about this
Oh my,
series?
it's been so beautiful. I think we all knew we were working on something really special in the midst of it, and we were hoping it would be received in a positive way. But it's been above and beyond that, beyond anything anyone could have imagined. I have so many doctor friends who are elated to feel and see the representation that this presents finally in our
Mm,
industry. I mean, there's so many doctor shows and so many iterations on doctor shows, but it's so nice to say that we are getting it accurately and that people are seeing something that's new in that genre.
mm.
Um, and yeah, from people who don't know me personally, friends and new friends.
Yeah,
I'll say the fans are new friends.
right.
Um, it's been so sweet. I mean, no one's shy about sharing the positive feedback and the hype for the show. I've had a couple people send me links to the Reddit, and
Okay.
my God, that Reddit goes on and on. People are so involved and invested. It's beautiful.
It's like because I've seen most of the series. I have like two episodes left, but
Oh, cool.
it's
Yeah.
like it's like people are already asking like when are we gonna hear the news about season two? We're ready for a season two. I don't know if you're ready or not.
Yes, absolutely. It was announced that season two is definitely coming. So it's going to be really exciting to see how this same format is used and, yeah, built off of.
That's amazing. So, when I was doing some research on you too, like your acting career, it spans, you've done different, roles, genres. Like, what attracted you to Dr. Garcia, and how is this different compared to everything else you've played?
Oh my gosh, it's so different. I've gotten to play a doctor before, but in this case, playing a surgeon is just a
Mm,
whole new realm of, you know, does not mince words, knows exactly what needs to happen in the room. And it's just this level of badassness that was so fun to step into. I know a couple doctors, I know some surgeons,
okay.
and hearing from their point of view of, there's only a limited amount of time in these life or death situations to make a call.
Mm.
And you can't vacillate. You got to make a call and you got to be confident in that call. So stepping into that role was so enriching, and I learned so much playing Garcia.
Mm. Did you originally, a little about the audition process, did you originally go for this role or was it a different role?
No, I went for this role originally. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was something. Honestly, it's all in the writing. Kudos to the entire writing team.
Mm,
It's so well written that I got this. I felt like it was super clear. The actions, the surgical actions, but also the relationships. Um, and even though I had to do a little bit of research in terms of the hierarchy in those spaces, attending versus resident versus intern, it still was so evident. So all I had to do was really show up and be in action and be servicing the patient in the scene
mm. What
with
was
the
that? Oh, go
with
ahead.
the
Go
intention
ahead.
of saving a life, which everyone has different ways of doing that. You learn. Every doctor has a different way.
Mm. What was the description of your character when you first auditioned?
Oh, good question. I would have to look it up, but basically a badass.
Yeah.
She knows
Well,
exactly
she
what.
is, as you can see some of the scenes.
Yep, yep. Does not mince words. Just comes in, tells people what needs to happen,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'd be curious to go back and look now because
Mm.
essentially that's what it's been distilled to in my mind. But she's a boss. She knows what needs to happen to get the accomplishment in the room is
Mm.
saving a life.
Yeah. I like how she, like she throughout the series, she faces like numerous high pressure situations. Was there a particular scene or episode where you felt like the character was truly tested?
Oh yeah. There's the episode, I believe it was episode 8, after getting stabbed in the foot with a scalpel by
Okay, yeah.
Santos, which admittedly was a mistake. It still was, the first patient that she came back to was one that she was not familiar with how to help best, and kind of hit a wall, and then goes to Santos and Javadi, to get that support. Javadi obviously being related to Dr. Shamsi, a
Yeah.
surgeon who I work with and respect. It just she's definitely going in there and trying to make it happen so that it doesn't fall on her that this patient is not well taken care of.
You mentioned Santos, she looks up to Garcia, as a mentor, of course, and everything. How would you describe that chemistry, that relationship?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's our first day meeting,
Yeah.
and she comes on the scene and she is super confident and knows she's intelligent. She makes some really good calls, asks really good questions, and she shows up with this energy that I think Garcia sees. Oh, we that's the energy we get in the surgical, upstairs in surgery. That's what we're looking for. That level of competence. So I think she sees in her a possible protege. I think she's excited by what they could do together and how they could also accomplish more because Garcia has a lot to do running up and down between surgery and the
Yeah.
ER. And if she knows that someone's there kind of holding it down, even though she's still, lower down on the chain of command, it's helpful. It's helpful to know that you have people who are supporting the outcome of saving lives.
She wasn't too happy about the whole Dr. Langan thing too, with the try to tell on him and everything. And you were like, stay away from me. I don't want to know about that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be implicated. I
Yeah.
think there's a whole chain of command again, and the fact that she's not the attending of the ED.
Hmm.
That's Dr. Robbie, and I think she has a lot of respect for Dr. Robbie. She trusts that he's going to take care of his underlings. And also, Garcia hasn't seen Langdon, inebriated in any way that has.
Yeah.
First of all, she hasn't seen him inebriated, and it hasn't been, a negative effect on any of the proceedings that they're doing. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because all throughout the episodes, he doesn't look like he's, high or just he's doing his
he's
thing.
a
And when he,
functioning addict.
right.
And I think that also is such a common thing I've heard from my doctor friends and, in talking to the medical team on set, all the advisors and the consults, like it's a super, super common thing, unfortunately, but it's a story we're telling for a reason.
Mm. And I think the fans were happy when he shows up on episode 12.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had to jump in, right? We
Right,
already
right.
were short staffed. So,
Describe
you know,
that episode. That's a powerful, emotional episode.
oh my God. I mean, it's so fun as an audience member. Now I'm watching it like I'm not even, I'm on the other side of it, just taking it
Yeah.
all in. And I'm going for the ride. I'm fully on the ride, just as everyone else. It brought me to tears. A lot of the episodes bring me to tears, but 12 was just when everything hits the fan with this tragedy. To see the level of the calm and the just everyone just locks in a way that is chilling.
Mm. And people need to understand that, like, this is what happens when there's like a mass shooting like that. All the hospitals just get buried.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I didn't have a conversation with anyone about like what that actually looks like. I didn't speak to anyone who's lived through that experience. But in watching it, it's so apparent that that's how it must be. I mean, obviously, there's
Mm.
people who are overlooking this. Dr. Joe Sachs is the top doctor who's making sure that this is accurate. But in watching it, I thought, oh my God, it's it really captured that it's a fine balance of
Mm.
they're running between patients, they're doing what needs to be done, but it's also this the tone of it was so beautifully captured.
Mm. You mentioned you're friends with a couple of doctors, but I know you guys had people on set also. What's one of the best advice they gave you for filming a series like this?
From a doctor's point of view who's never been on a set,
Okay.
it's not that they're giving you advice on how to film, right? It's more that they're telling you, walking you through the patient and what we're talking about regarding the patient, and what are the factors, what is the order of events in which you have to like ask these questions in order to get to a better understanding of what you're dealing with. And I met with over a phone call or two. I spoke to a surgeon friend who basically just taught me about the hierarchy and the social aspect of
Yeah.
a hospital space so that I could have that understanding. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because it's a totally different world that
Yeah.
as someone who's been in the hospital before and as a patient, you start to pick up on little things,
Mm.
but you don't realize the dynamics and the conversations that are being had in order to make sure that your care is the utmost quality, you know?
Mm.
And there's
So,
so much going on there. There's just so much that I learned throughout doing the series.
was there like a certain scene or anything there you were like, oh my God, like I hope this never happens to me, like the way they do things?
Oh man, God, I hope none of these
Right,
things ever
right.
happen to anyone. But specifically, the burn victim
Mm.
was particularly hard for me to see. I mean, and then to play like, okay, well, you have to cover that. You can't have emotion when
Yeah.
you're helping these patients. And God, yeah, knowing what I know now, which is that the percentage of the body that has been burned, you subtract that from 100, and that's the patient's chance at survival. And so in that case, that patient had been burned 90% of his body, and his 10% chance and the susceptibility to infection and all the things resulting from the burn just make you think, my God, I that's a terrible way to go.
Mm.
Just
Is there
awful.
we have 15 episodes, or is there a specific episode that has already been aired that's been your favorite or coming up?
Oh my gosh. I think I have to go back and watch them all because it's
Okay.
so amazing. And it feels like one long, beautiful day that,
Mm.
splitting up the episodes, I'd have to go back and watch. Um, I will say, like, there's some really fun stuff in the beginning, and specifically with the banter with Langdon, that
Okay,
was just
yeah.
like this, sibling rivalry that we have, and having respect for each other, but to the extent that we get to joke around and make light in these really serious rooms.
Mm. Is there a specific cast member you want to have more scenes with season two that you're gonna get a chance to with
Oh
season one,
man. Um,
or to
man,
work with in the operating
yeah,
room or
yeah,
something?
yeah. I, God, I love everyone on that set. If I were to pick, I might say Dr. McKay. I think
Okay.
it's really
Yeah.
cool that she's come to medicine later in life and her commitment to the craft of medicine is really beautiful to watch on screen. And as a surgeon, I think it'd be fun for Garcia to interact with her and see what she's learned and what she has to learn still. And
Mm.
I mean, Garcia is not really a fan of teaching, even though it's a teaching hospital.
Yeah.
That's more for the ED to take care of. And when she comes down, she's kind of like, oh, can we move on? Because I have patients to see upstairs. But McKay would be a really fun one to interact with. God, I
Yeah.
could go on and on about all the
And
characters.
she's a tough cookie too.
Yeah, yeah.
She's tough. She's
Equally
tough.
tall, yeah, equally tough and um, deeply cares about her character, the patients that she's working with. And
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be really fun.
Mm. Is there anything you would change about Garcia?
Anything I would change? You know, I don't think there is. Garcia is she's a complex character and
Mm.
there's so much that you don't see because again, she's in and out of these
Yeah.
rooms and dealing with cases that you're not aware of upstairs that if anything, maybe just divulging a little bit more of um yeah, those layers, the layers that you're not seeing. But that's one thing that I love about this show. It doesn't hold the audience member's hand and explain every little bit of
Yeah.
every little character. These are human beings. They're layered and they're moving up throughout their day and doing the best that they can to, do the job
Yeah.
that they've signed up for and that they're
Mm.
incredibly competent
Would you
in
be
order
friends
to do.
with Garcia?
Oh my gosh. It's funny. Garcia is an amalgamation of a few different people and doctors that I know.
Okay.
And, they're slightly difficult personalities because they they know what they know and they know that they're right. And sometimes it's hard to interact with that and have a balanced conversation with that. But I think that I would be friends with her in the sense that I respect her greatly. And whether I, we don't know what Garcia is like outside. You haven't seen what Garcia is like outside of the
Right.
hospital. I think Garcia has a really fun side to her. In the little clip, she invited Santos out to drinks, and I think when she is outside of the hospital setting, she lets loose a little bit. So I think I would be.
I know like the series, we have like every episode is 1 hour, the shift and everything, but like down the road, it's like I wonder if we'll see like maybe a flashback for your character or something, or
I wonder.
something outside of work that people have the writers thought about anything like that, do you know?
If I did, I wouldn't be able to divulge.
Hey, I tried. I figured I
Yeah,
would ask.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Doesn't hurt.
awesome. Doesn't hurt, doesn't hurt. So we have a the episode 13 was last night, right?
Yep, yep. Two
Yeah, episode
episodes
13.
left.
So we got two more to go. When now have they told you when you're gonna go film season two?
It starts back up in June.
Oh wow. So we'll
Yeah.
probably see it around this time next year.
I think it probably would be around the same schedule, January
Yeah,
premiere.
that's amazing.
That's my
Yeah.
guess. Don't quote
Yeah.
me on that.
Yeah. I want to end this with what's one message you want to give to the fans out there that love this show? I'm one of them.
Oh man. Thank you for loving it so much. It's been so wonderful to make it, and it's so cool to know that all the hard work put into it is received in such a beautiful way.
I mean, Alexander, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. Like I said, I'm excited. I can't wait to finish the series and good luck for season two.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.